It started with the thought that we are all very afraid about this moment when machines overcome the smartest moment of humanity. And we are way more concerned about the weakest moment of humanity. And how does humanity see itself? How can we continue in the near future? By looking at those weak moments and empowering ourselves in dealing with technology and in dealing with us as human beings in this context of technology as well as our environment.
This bunker has the patina of time. This bunker has a purpose. It is a place with its own narrative, and if we position there projects coming with their own personality, let's call it like that, and again with other projects that are in close neighborhood to each other, you are creating a narrative that creates something very specific. It is a dialogue with space and projects. The bunker itself is from the scenographical approach extremely important. We have a one-way system where you can play with different pheromones, with sounds when you're going into the cave, and you hear in the far distance a rather brutal sounds, and every cell tells you don't go there, don't go there, don't go there. But every error just sucks you in this maze, a maze that is not just an architectonical maze. It is also a maze as a symbol, as a metaphor for the complexity of our lives.
We use technology, we use artificial systems like we have used tools for centuries. So how can we use those technology and discuss the impacts and the approaches that we take in towards them and the way that we can use them for the better good of humanity, and by this humanizing technology in the end. The idea came up to look at human limitations, like how a person, a single person, an individual by itself is limited in some sort of way.
I came to that installation from a very personal experience because I was afraid that I can die. I don't really have a lot of fear of that, but when I was starting it, I had, because I was sick. It created some, not hallucinations, but like a fear of losing my health and my life. And I decided that even in this position and even in this situation, I could still make something like a tool or like an instrument that will do music, or that will work still with me even if I will be in coma, or till the last breath. Maybe I'm more mechanical, because I'm just breathing and doing some daily, very standard procedures, which are even unconsciousness for me. It's not only hybrid because there is a human and a machine, but also because it's like mechanical acoustic instrument as well as the digital instrument, and also using some biological system, me in this case, as a pump. I'm an air pump for that. For us, it's very important to see some, as much as we can, that we're not central of the universe, because we all behave, and the whole humanity acts like we are, which is a bit dangerous concept.
As a juxtaposition to human limitations, the limitations of the individual, of a singular person, we put limited humanity. The idea derived here from that we as a whole, as a society, have limitations in dealing with each other, in understanding each other's, in living with each other's, as well as with our environment and other living entities and beings. What is the essence of a human being? How do we, on a daily, on an ever-continuing basis, exchange with the environment? And The idea is pretty much about the breath. We give breath to the world and we take the air in again.
So what I've built is a big human-scale feedback loop in a way, but it has also a lot of micro-scale feedback loops, and it talks about also a planetary feedback loop. So already the whole construction of the installation tells about limitations of human, because it puts the respiratory feedback loop of a human being in the context of micro-feedback loops and macro-feedback loops. In inspiration installation, which is actually a breathing station, there are 3 bioreactors with bacterium Mycobacterium vaccae, which is a bacteria that scientists discovered that is very well works with our serotonin system. So it relaxes us, it makes us feel better, and also our mental capacities get stronger. I've tried to put out the idea that if we're ever going to have breathing stations, already the idea of having breathing stations should be scary to us. But the other thing is somebody will have to decide how much of this happiness bacteria or any other aerosol that we will put in this breathing station we will get. I wanted to show that this is all a negotiation. Not only that we're living in countless feedback loops, but also that we have to negotiate between them. So this is really to show the urgency of how people should realize, or also me, everyone, because it's difficult to grasp with our linear mind, that we are living a very complex situation that we won't be able to fix so easily. And we have to really start doing it.
While thinking about the idea of the human limitations versus limited humanity, the topic of the language became very important, as a lot of works that we selected for the exhibition dealt with that idea on different levels. How can a group of people, a nation, a society be manipulated through language?
Radiosense deals with this kind of idea that you, in a very quick pace, cut out mediated reality of a very basic media stream, which is the radio. Because to me, like the radio, like old analog radio is like the mother of radio apparatuses, you could say, like the prototype or the archetype of a media stream, basically, right? And it has been propaganda machine since it was invented, basically. Coming back to human limitations, the question is, how can we deal with such amount of information in so small doses, and how do we find a reference to what we consider to be real or reality? This was particularly interesting to show it at Ars Electronica because I was aware that there's a lot of people that don't speak German. And of course we have German radio broadcasts here which deal with German language. So it's more about coming up with this kind of syntactical chains that kind of create a language by its own than to kind of re-performing a human language that is known and that people might understand.
It is actually part of humankind that with our beautiful minds and thoughts we are able to invent instruments and technology around us that brings us over some obstacles, over the borders, beyond the thinkable. It seems to be deeply embedded in the DNA of humankind, and whatever technology we invent, we have to kind of look at the consequences, and the consequences is with whatever technology we invented, we do a step away from the traditional perspective on the normal things, and that forces us as a logical consequence to rethink again what this is doing with the understanding of what humankind is, what it's good for, what this does with humanity.